1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
It's the 10 crack commandments. Wow.
1, 2, 2, 3, 4.
Man can't tell me nothing about this coke. Can't tell me nothing about this crack, this weed, and my hustling niggas. Niggas on the corner. I ain't forget you niggas. My triple B niggas.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
10. Oh, Casey's Corner was good, man. Little 10 cracker man from the great Notorious B.I.G. Thank you guys for coming in here, checking in Casey's Corner for another episode. I got a special guest, and we're not gonna waste no time because I talked to this man for like an hour and a half the other day on this subject. You know what I'm saying? So I know we can't waste no time, on this episode talking about it. This was the first guest I ever had. My man, he was the first. He was the test case in the Casey's Corner interview. My man Zeph, all the way out. You in Minnesota or Michigan right now?
I have relocated from Cali back to Minnesota.
Poor guy.
So I'm in Minnesota right now. Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
But anyway, we got my man Z. Let me get that applause in here. My man Z's in the building. What's good? I got the applause, man. And you texted me the other day and you said, "You okay?" Because we've been working on this for the past 2 weeks. We finally got it done. But we said, "You okay? I need to get on this show. I got something I got to get off my chest." And hey, I know you're a man of the people, and the people want to hear what the people are saying. So I'm gonna fall back right now. I'm like, Z, just go ahead and get this off your chest, man. The floor is yours.
First and foremost, me and Kay had, like he said, we had about an hour-long conversation, maybe an hour and a half long conversation.
Yes.
Going back and forth about this Harbaugh, Jed York, Trent Baalke, alpha male, marketing, all of that kind of stuff.
Right.
Talking about this situation with everybody involved.
Right.
Obviously, as we speak now, I'm sitting in my Michigan hoodie. I'm a Niners and a Wolverines fan, just like you.
Go blue.
Right, exactly. Probably why we so click tight as is. But,
That's right.
But obviously, I love Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
I do after taking some time and listening and then thinking about the conversation that we had a couple days ago about Harbaugh, I have softened my stance on being so pro Harbaugh.
Right.
I'm still pro Harbaugh though. Period. Like
as am I. I just want to make it clear. As am I. I'm definitely pro Harbaugh. Yes.
I'm a ride with him. Period. And but as I told you in our previous phone conversation, he is a weird guy. Mm-hmm. He's different. He's just different. His coaching style, everything that you saw like on the sidelines, he's just different than like all the other coaches that are out there.
Right.
And I like that. I like that the coach, my favorite coach, is different.
Right.
With that being said, my whole side of the debate was that he, as good as he has been, and as bad, I was about to say a curse word, as bad as we were before we had him, I just figure, given our history and who came before, and our predecessors and who came before us, the Eddie D's and the Bill Walsh, like, they didn't always get along.
Right.
But they made that relationship work.
Right.
Period. Right. And when Eddie D, you mentioned this, which was like a killer point. Carmen policy. We don't have a Carmen policy right now. You're 100% right about that.
Right.
Carmen made everything kind of go. Right. It was that middleman between. Trent's not that person. Right. Trent is a company man. Oh, the one thing I wanted to get off my chest, let me get off of the Harbaugh thing.
Speak on it.
I am a Niner fan through and through since third grade in Flint, Michigan, of all places, been a Niner fan. Mm-hmm. I love the football team. I love the players on the team. Right. I do not support this front office right now, this current front office, and I do not absolutely do not support Ron Jeremy, the stool pigeon. I do not support this rat of a coach that we got right now. I'm reading Twitter comments, and Mike Singletary from 2010 had a comment where he was giving a sub to who he thought was the snitch on his staff.
Mm-hmm.
Who was on the staff back when Singletary was on the team that's still on the staff, Harbaugh was on the team.
That's right, Jimmy T.
It was, I mean, he's clearly a company man. Like he was doing whatever he had to do to appease Lil Jed and telling, giving him all of this information, leaking stuff to them, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I believe Jed and Tom Sula were leaking these things to kind of get this whole media frenzy going all season long for the last couple of years now.
Right.
I don't rock with Tom Sula, man. I predict this is not. Sometimes you need like the struggle for greater good.
Uh-huh.
Now we separate when it comes to being NBA fans. We're right on par with football. We're right on par with college sports.
Right.
We're separate on baseball. I got respect for your franchise that's doing their thing, and
Right.
my team.
Shout out to the Tigers. I ain't got no problem. I ain't got no problem with the Tigers. Shout out to the Tigers.
Right. So, but my Lakers are struggling right now. We're separate on that too. You with the Sacktown boy.
That's
I'm
right.
I'm with the Laker boy.
That's right.
For both of my teams, for the Niners and the Lakers, I think that there's necessary struggle going on that'll go on right now for a greater good, which is championships down the line. Just because I say this does not mean I'm faithful. Let me say this so that everybody that listens to this podcast hears this.
Uh-huh.
When I say something negative about my team, I'm being realistic.
Right.
I've said this quite a few times, and I got quite a few retweets for it.
Right.
Being quote unquote faithful does not mean naive.
Right.
You do not have to be naive to be faithful as a 49er fan.
Right.
I don't think that we're going to win with Jim Tom Sula.
Right.
I don't see it happening. I can't even. Can you really, honestly? Okay, I'll ask you this question. Do you believe that you will be in attendance for a parade for a 49er Super Bowl with that dude holding a Vince Lombardi trophy?
I'll answer your question straight up, and I will say if I had to bet, I'll answer it straight up. If I had to bet, I would say no. Okay, but I will also say this: me, just like you, just like everybody damn else, we have no idea what's gonna happen. No clue whatsoever.
No, we don't.
And we don't know how this guy is as a leader. We don't know how he is as delegating responsibility. We don't know how he is as a motivator. If anything, we know how he is as a motivator, and he's a great motivator. Okay? Now, you look at somebody, you look at it all the time. You look at, people wanted Vic Fangio, and I was one of those people who wanted Vic Fangio. But how many times have we seen the great offensive or defensive coordinator finally get that head coaching job, and we just realize he's not a head coach, period. So what you do as a coordinator or as a line coach, position coach, whatever, has, in my opinion, no bearance on what you're going to do, good or bad, as a head coach, because it's a completely different ball game. We like I said, you got the guys from New England. People were betting their lives on what's the boy Charlie Weiss's name and Romeo Cornell after they were with Belichick as coordinators. What the hell did they do as head coaches? Not a goddamn thing. Not a goddamn thing. They didn't do nothing but suck. They didn't do nothing but suck. All right, that's the bottom line. So that's just an example. And then you got guys, like a Mangini was another guy that came as a coordinator under Belichick and sucked as a coach. You know what I'm saying? And you got guys that kind of come out of nowhere that are great coaches and great motivators and great leaders. My whole thing with this whole Jim Tomsula thing has made me come off as a defender of Jed York, and I'm not necessarily that because I don't agree with his decision. I would have handled it a different way, but we don't know. And it's February 16th, and I'm not going to go crazy right now. We don't know who's coming back. We don't know who the free agents are. We don't know who we drafted. We don't know anything right now. We don't know anything about Jim Tomsula, and we won't know anything till mid-September. It's just as simple as that. So I refuse to get on board with saying that he'll never do anything. Once again, I answered your question. I don't think he will. If I had to put my money on it, I don't think he will. But I don't know. I've never seen the guy. And that's even more than like a retread coach. Because if we would have got Shanahan, I don't want Shanahan. I've seen what he does. I've seen what he does as a head coach. He's not very good without Terrell Davis. Okay, he got lucky in Washington, and then he fell apart, and he wasn't able to communicate with a new type of player. I didn't want nothing to do with a Mike Shanahan. I've seen that's my difference between a Jimmy T and a Mike Shanahan. I've seen what Shanahan can do in this NFL with this type of NFL player, and I'm not impressed. I don't know what Jimmy T can do. I don't know. If anything, I know that he's a great motivator and people love him. That's all I know from him. That's it.
I know he got a great. Yeah, you're right. He do got a great mouthpiece because he uses it a lot.
So
uses it a lot to tell on people.
So okay. So let me address that one because I got to address that now. Here's the other thing that we talked about, and once again, I have to clarify this all the time because people just don't understand it. I wanted Jim Harbaugh to stay. I feel they should have made it work. I think Jed York was way in over his head. He had no idea how to handle the situation, and anybody with any experience or any common sense would have tried to make this work. I'm not sure he did. So I would have kept Harbaugh. Now, with that being said, people, especially after this little interview with Tim Kawakami, have come to Jim Harbaugh's defense and said, oh my gosh, oh Lord, they treated Jim Harbaugh so wrong. Jed York, you're an ass, Jed York. You're an ass. All right, you can't. How did you treat Jim Harbaugh like that? How could you do that to Jim Harbaugh? I'm going to say this respectfully to all of my 49er faithful out there, all my Niner fans out there. Let's pull our skirt down, B. All right, let's pull our skirt down, okay? Because we're getting caught in our feelings. And I'm going to say this about Jim Harbaugh, whether it was done wrong or not, that's up for debate. You can make the argument he was. But I can tell you what, I bet there's a couple of people out there in them streets who are looking at the situation and be like, you know what, Jim Harbaugh? Karma's a motherfucker. Excuse the language, but karma is a motherfucker. All right? Braylon Edwards is probably saying karma's a motherfucker. Brandon Jacobs is probably saying karma is a motherfucker. I'm going to start saying mother lover because I don't want to keep cursing. I'm not trying to curse on the show. So karma's a mother lover. Alex Smith is probably sitting back saying karma is a mother lover. All right. So it's, now look. Regardless of how you feel, Randy Moss is probably saying karma is a mother lover. Now, regardless of how you feel about his skills, and we went back on this for about 45 of the hour and a half that we were on the phone. Alex Smith, regardless of how you feel as him as a player, he was done wrong by Jim Harbaugh. Now, it worked. Nobody said anything because it worked. But he didn't do anything at that time of his injury to lose his starting position. And Jim Harbaugh did him wrong. He did him wrong. Now, the results worked. He was right.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we go to the Super Bowl with Alex Smith as a starter?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. But look, okay, and this goes to the other point. I'm going to say no. But I'm going to say that I think Alex Smith beats Green Bay. I do not think that Alex Smith's coming back from 17-0 in Atlanta to win that game. But going back to another one of my Harbaugh counterpoints, those last two games of the season, we choked our asses off. It took Frank Gore stepping up into Jim Harbaugh's face and saying, Jim, get your head out of your ass, give me the ball, for us to get our mind right. We choked the hell out of that first quarter in Atlanta. We choked the first half in Baltimore, or in the Super Bowl against Baltimore. And we choked at the goal line to be immortal in the Super Bowl. And that goes on the coach. And Jim Harbaugh does not get a pass from me. And you people, and another thing, I'm saying I like Vic Fangio a lot. That's my guy. That's who I wanted him to replace, or I wanted to replace Jim Harbaugh. But the fact remains, in that Super Bowl run, after the New England comeback, the Niners defense was god awful.
Whoa. I refuse. Was there a key member of the 49er defense that was out a huge chunk of that time and then came back and was hobbled at the same time?
I'm sorry, do we not have 2 Pro Bowlers, 2 future Hall of Famers out this year, and they still performed?
Come on, it's regular season. We're talking playoffs. Everybody.
They were terrible in the regular season. They were terrible in the end of the regular season. They were terrible in the playoffs. They were terrible in the Super Bowl.
From the point that Justin Smith got hurt in New England in the first half, from that point on, the defense struggled.
Okay.
He was the Frank Gore of our defense. He was the heart and soul of that defense.
Okay.
As soon as he came to the team, as soon as we got him, everything changed about our defense.
Okay,
Like,
I will look. Z, I will give you that. So I'll ask you the question right now: who's more valuable, Vic Fangio or Justin Smith? Because it sounds like you're telling me Justin Smith is way more valuable than Vic Fangio, which leads all this other stuff irrelevant about losing Vic Fangio.
Let me just say this right now. That year, Justin Smith was more valuable.
We're only 2 years removed from that. It wasn't like this was years ago when Vic Fangio had time to grow as a coach. He's already a grown-ass man. He is who he is.
He's old as hell. But
He is who he is. So it's either Justin Smith is the key to this. See, this is what happens. Z, this is what happens, and this is not directed towards you. I just see it a lot. There's a lot of double tuck going on. There's a lot of it can't be Vic Fangio is the greatest defense coordinator in the game, and then well, I'm not saying you. But it can't be he's the greatest defensive coordinator in the game, and then when I talk about how bad his defense was in the Super Bowl run, which possibly could have cost us the Super Bowl in a certain extent, it can't be like, oh, well, we didn't have Justin Smith. I hear it all the time. It can't be either or. This is the thing. But wait, this is the thing that gets me about the Harbaugh holics right now. I need them to take responsibility for the major fails that he had in his career. And they can't be overlooked. Whether it's the choking in the NFC Championship game to start it off, the choking in the Super Bowl to start off the first half of that game, not having our team prepared in both of those games, cutting a wide receiver like Braylon Edwards, leaving us with nobody but Brett Swain. All right, getting rid of a Brandon Jacobs and making him obsolete, where after Kendall Hunter tears his Achilles, we have no other running back besides Frank Gore. Or if it's even the 900,000 offensive coordinators calling plays, which led to us having one of the worst offenses in the game all 4 years he was there. I need accountability from all the Harbaugh holics.
You said five. You see, you gassing it again.
I meant to say 5,000. My bad.
5. 1, 2, 3, 5.
Oh, my bad. Five play callers. I exaggerated. It was only 5 play callers in one booth.
At one time. Give me the proper credit. 5 at one time. Anyway, so with Justin, sometimes you have, obviously you know how this goes. It's not in every sport. If you take the impact player out of a game, it changes the dynamic of it.
Right.
I feel like Justin made our defense go. I swear, like, he got hurt. I think he tore his tricep back then.
Yep.
He tore his tricep back then, right? When we came back out in the second half and Brady was lighting us up, I'm like, how is this happening? Like, what happened? And then the next week we came out. Who did we play the next week?
Seattle beat the living crap out of us.
Yes. Yep. That's what it. Yep. And I was like, obviously they play well up there, and they play well against us. Every time we go up there for their fans, it's like their Super Bowl.
Right.
So, obviously they're going to play well, and they play well with Justin on the field.
Right.
But the way that they beat us and the way that we didn't have any kind of answer for anything, I was like, and then was there one more game before the playoffs?
There was. We played the Cardinals. I mean, it was a fairly easy win to beat Arizona at home to win the NFC West.
Okay.
But then in the playoffs, now Cap and the offense completely dominated the Green Bay Packers on the offensive end. But people forget it was a 24-24 midway through the third quarter before Cap's 60-yard run. Like, they were putting up points on us at home. You know what I mean? They were making moves. Like, the defense got torched by Julio and Matt Ryan in the first half at Atlanta, and they marched down the field before Navarro broke up the play to win the game. And then Joe Flacco put up 34 points on us in the Super Bowl?
So let me just say this real quick. Now, obviously, nobody's gonna know the Packer first half better than nobody's gonna know any better than me because, like Boomer says, because I was there. I was in attendance, losing my mind when the game started off. It was bad.
Right.
I really spent close to it. I spent close to a rack getting out there, buying that playoff ticket, and I'm gonna come all the way out here, and we're gonna get spanked. we're gonna get spanked by Aaron Rodgers in our house, and then Cap went off. I'll tell you this, and I don't know if I should have this in the recording or not.
No.
But me and the season ticket holder that I was with, that I got the ticket from, everybody was standing. I was so pissed off at that point. But when Cap when he went down the field for a 60-yard run,
right.
Me and her, and I won't say her name on here. we were the only two in our row sitting down. I was pouting. I was mad. I was sitting there mad.
It was 24-24 in the third quarter.
and then Cap went off.
Right.
So no, actually it wasn't Cap's run. It was the interception by it wasn't Culliver back there.
No, I think T. Brown got an interception on a long pass. But look, the biggest play in that game was we had just gone 3 and out. We punted the ball, and the guy for Green Bay muffed the punt, and what's his name, Spielman got the ball and got us. We was like inside the 15-yard line, and that's what got us going. That was the big play in that one. So I say all that. Look, we don't have much time, so I got to say all that to say, look, my whole point is I would have kept those guys around, but like we talked about, Harbaugh is a weird dude. He's an alpha male type of dude, and I feel him and Jed were butting heads. And it was a pissing contest. We talked about it. It was a pissing contest. And if you're gonna get in the pissing contest with your boss, you need to make sure you are irreplaceable and you have no flaws. Now, the other thing that I talk about here with that you got to look at is, and once again, I am not in favor of getting rid of them. It's like Chris Rock said, I don't condone it, but I understand. When you got players, as much as us fans wanted to get rid of or wanted to keep Harbaugh, and we loved them and everything was great, and you got the Joe Staleys and the Alex Boones and the Caps that show love and show him love, there isn't a peep from anybody who is saying, damn, I'm going to miss Harbaugh. Nobody in the building, nobody in the locker room. You flip that around, and you've got players that don't even play for the 49ers anymore. They're 2-3 years removed, showing love for Jimmy T. I'm so glad he got this. He deserved it. These guys know what a rat is, and they know what's going on in the locker room. They know who to respect and who not to respect. Nothing but respect across the board for Jim Tomsula. Nothing but respect. Now, that doesn't necessarily translate into W's, but that can give you a window into what's going on in there. Like I said, people like to call Jimmy T a rat and a yes man. There's nobody in that locker room calling him that, at least publicly. At least publicly, The people that are there with him every day. And you know how it is. You've been on athletic teams. You've been in locker rooms. You know which coaches are suck-ups, which players are suck-ups. You can see right through that. There's nobody saying that in the locker room. Nobody. It's all love.
It was more. I was going to say that it was more love for Harbaugh than what you're trying to admit right now, Frank.
No,
Frank definitely should.
I think they had love for him. No, I think they definitely had love for him. I mean, I think maybe Crab, Ahmad Brooks, and Vernon Davis had checked out on him. But I think the locker room as a whole, I think they had love for him. It was no doubt. But I think he might have wore them dudes down, man. And just because you're not sad to see somebody go doesn't mean you didn't like them when they were there. It's just like, hey, well, that's kind of the breaks. You know, I wish him the best. You weren't necessarily trying to get rid of him, but since he's gone, it's like, okay.
Crab checked out on himself, just for the record, but
Crab checked out.
Crab and
We,
Vernon checked out on themselves.
very disappointed in those guys, and they have to be questioned. They have to be brought into question. Well, Crab's not even gonna be here, so it don't matter. But Vernon, if you do hang around, you got a microscope on you, and I'm looking at you with the side eye right now. I'm looking at Vernon with the side eye right now. Seriously.
I follow him on Instagram. He was doing some speed drills. He was doing a little choppy stuff. He get right. He's ready to shit.
Dog. He was one of the first people. As soon as Harbaugh got fired and Jimmy T got hired, he was one of the first people I saw. Oh, wait, OTAs, I'm guaranteed to be there. I can't wait. Just tell me when. I promise you I'll be there. What? Really, Vernon? That told me all I needed to know about how he acted this year. Because you don't just go from being Vernon Davis to how he played this year. And it's obvious he had a situation with the people up top.
Is this the same Vernon Davis that was all about Alex Smith's the man, but then as soon as Cap started winning the playoffs, Cap was the man? I mean, my thing is that, as I mentioned, on this podcast before, Vernon has been my favorite player. That is in serious jeopardy if he has another season or next season. It's already in serious jeopardy.
Well, look, here's the difference, though. But wait, real quick, I'll let you finish that. Real quick, here's the difference. Even when he was like Alex Smith, and then he showed love for Cap, he never stopped playing when Cap was in there. You was still the same Vernon Davis from Alex Smith to Colin Kaepernick. He was not the same Vernon Davis this past year under Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Now, he could just be finished, which I think might be the case. He might just be finished. But he sure ain't acting like it. You didn't hear him all year last year talking about, oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
So, it's suspect.
Z,
real quick. We got like a minute and 30 seconds. I'm going to let you close out the show. This is a great discussion. I love Jim Harbaugh. I love him in Michigan if he's not going to be in San Francisco. I'd rather him be in San Francisco, but I love him in Michigan. Z, I'm going to let you close this out, baby.
Jay York is a coward. Jay York is a coward for get up there and lie. You a big boss man. Tell the truth. Don't lie. Don't sugarcoat stuff and don't lie. Jimmy T, in my opinion, is a yes man, and as you said, karma will catch up to him. The only advantage that he has is that this team is extremely talented, and they're going to come back healthy and hungry to prove a point. That is the only thing that may play into his favor. I don't see him winning a Super Bowl, though.
Damn, tough times in Ninerville, man. Tough times. Hey, man, we had so much that we didn't even touch on. I knew 30 minutes wasn't going to be enough. We had so much we didn't even touch on. We definitely going to have to come back. I'm going to have to talk to you when the draft happens, free agency, and see if maybe we got some people that can change your tune a little bit, make you feel a little better, man. Come on, man. We gotta get out, as Niner fans, we got to get out of our feelings right now, man. We're kind of in our feelings right now. We need to get out of our feelings. Hey, DGB. Hey, I'm gonna leave it right there, man. Z, thank you for getting on there, man. Like I said, it's been too long, and we ain't gonna wait this long next time, man. We gonna have you on a lot soon.
I appreciate you having me, brother.
It's all good, man. KC's Corner. This was a Niner Game remix. We didn't even know. We got Biggie playing. We should have had that Tony Montana, but whatever. 10 Crack Commandments, Biggie Smalls, KC's Corner. Y'all check it out. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Get at me on Twitter at IMKDiddy. Hey, Z, you want to give your Twitter real quick in like 2 seconds?
Son 1981.
Get at him. He's a great follow. Y'all be good. 100. Peace. Nine again.
She be laying in the bushes to light that ass up. Number 4.